Hey everybody, Mike here with Ugly Dog Hunting, here to take a dive with you into Garmin's dog training and tracking products. What we're going to do is we're going to run through the Alpha series, the 3 different options, as well as the Pro 550 Plus, and discuss some similarities and differences so that when you're making your choice for a tracking and training unit from Garmin, you know what to get. So first and foremost, we're going to dive into the Alpha series. Really, right now, your 3 best options are the Alpha 200 Plus, an Alpha 300, or an Alpha 300i. You may be familiar that the Alpha 200 and 200i are still out there. Those right now are on closeout. Once those are gone, it will only be the Alpha 200 Plus. Big, quick differentiation between the Alpha 200 Plus and the other 200s. The 200 Plus now comes with a USB-C charger. Before, it was a different type of charger, so now with the TT25 collar, all of your charging cords and ports are the same with the USB-C. The Alpha 300 series also is a USB-C charging point. Additionally, they did update some features, and with the feature and software update in the 200 Plus, your battery life is going to be much longer than the 200 or 200i. That said, if you're looking to save about $150 on a handheld GPS unit, you can certainly get the 200 or 200i while they last, but again, those are being phased out. Honestly, from a 200 perspective, that's the biggest nuts and bolts. Want to dive in from there really to the 300. So the biggest difference between the 300 and a 200 series is the AMOLED display. That AMOLED display will show you here on the screen a difference between the 200 and the 300, but that is going to be much more like your iPhone screen or a really high level tablet or phone screen. It's much brighter, particularly in full sun. You can titrate the levels of brightness up and down much more regularly. Additionally, because of the battery life with it, it tends to last a lot longer. The handheld, I've gone 3 to 4 days without charging the handheld, which is a savior when you leave it on in your truck overnight on a trip and then go hunting the next day. Trust me, I know from experience. The biggest difference between the 300 and the 300i is the ability to access Garmin's inreach feature. So if you take a lot of backcountry trips, you have folks in your life that are particularly worried about your travel or that you want to stay in touch with, if you're worried about risk and want to maximize your exposure to safety and resources should something happen, the 300i is probably going to be your best bet. For an extra $50 for the handheld and then a yearly subscription with Garmin, that allows you with the handheld to set up a variety of phone numbers that literally as soon as you turn the unit on will text those phone numbers a GPS location. Additionally, it will allow you the opportunity to text with the handheld device through Garmin inreach. So that way you don't have to have a separate inreach. You can just run the regular 300i unit. I have many friends, particularly hunting out west, that have zero reception where they hunt, and that has come up really, really big for them in terms of helping getting them out of jams, whether their trucks breaks down, they get stuck, fall in a gopher hole and break a leg. Any of those things could come up big, as well as, again, peace of mind for folks at home. If you've got family or kids or whatnot, and they want to know where you are, that is certainly a great option. Once you get it all set up, you really don't have to worry about it anymore. From a tracking and training perspective, want to dive in particularly around the Alpha series. So you'll see here at the top, there's 3 buttons across. Basically what you do is you go through the menus and you'll set up your different stimulation levels. You can run many, many dogs. I believe it's up to 18 to 20 dogs at this point. From a bird hunting perspective, I don't know anybody that is going to utilize that all at one time. From a hound perspective, certainly that and more if you need it. You can set up group functions and different things, but the way that I like to set it up, I'll actually use my handheld unit right here. I run what I really call like a low stimulation that I know the dog will pay attention to. I run a tone button because all my dogs are tone trained, and then my middle button is, you can actually see the button here is a bit textured. I run that, I literally call it the hand of God. That is the highest possible setting on the collar, because if I need to get the dog's attention, that is what I am using. If it's going to run into a road, I've used it when it was near rattlesnakes, any number of dangerous situations when I need to ensure that that dog will listen and come back to me. That's how I set it up. That, I would also argue, that particular setup is the downfall of the Alpha system, in my opinion. You need to set everything up beforehand with your dog from an appropriate levels perspective, and it is not very fluid, switching between levels, switching between dogs. While it is nice on the handheld, you get to see all the dogs that you have paired to the handheld on the ground, as well as all of the handhelds. And that is a situation that I use it most often. It is not great, particularly with young dogs when you're more in training mode, where you need to access a variety of levels to get done what you want to get done. It can be done, but it is not the most fluid or simple. From an Alpha perspective, if you're somebody that hunts with a number of dogs and you want to be able to look at a screen and see where they all are at one time, and see maybe how far away they are, whether they're on point or not, it certainly works. And that is a great way to utilize it, again, with multiple dogs. One of my favorite things to do at the end of hunts with the Alpha is to look at where I hunted and see all the zigzags and see that we truly covered a piece of property. Additionally, I use it a lot rough grouse hunting. All of my buddies run Alphas and we pair them all together. So that allows us to see each other's dogs and see each other's handhelds. So when we're in the woods and we have a line of sight of 20 yards or less, we know exactly where everybody is, where each other's dogs are, and we can maximize safety, coverage of the terrain we're hunting, and we also know sort of when each one of us is headed back to the truck or going in a different direction, or needs to take a particular jaunt. It also comes in really handy when somebody drops their handheld in a stream and it gets in the current and rolls away. I have literally used that to help my buddy go save his Alpha. If you have these systems and you have friends with them, I highly encourage you to pair them with that, because again, that allows you, if you drop it, you can call your friend and they can turn it on and help you locate your particular handheld. I want to transition now to the Pro 550 Plus. This is the other option from the track and training series from Garmin. You can see it's very, very different than what an Alpha series would look like. The biggest difference between these two devices and styles is I call the Alpha really a tracking unit with corrective functionality or training functionality. Its primary focus is the tracking. That's what it does best from a statistics perspective, from a mapping perspective, being able to follow trails and different things, all of that, and see it all in one unit. That's going to be your Alpha. From a Pro 550 Plus perspective, you can see this is built like a training handheld, and it is. This is a training first device with tracking functionality built into the bottom that will tell you how far away the singular dog is that you are set on, as well as whether the dog is on point or not. Now, you can pair up to 3 dogs with this system. You just need to utilize this toggle up here and switch between dogs to know which one it's on, how far away it is. So there is certainly some trade-offs on what that might look like, but from a budget perspective, as well as a training first perspective, this is going to be your chosen handheld. If you're familiar with Garmin or any of the older Tritronics units, you see it's a very familiar tube style. You can set your training numbers up top here, whether it's vibrate or 1 through 6, and then on this you have a low, medium, together is hot or most powerful from whatever setting you're on. Green is tone functionality, so I use that on my dogs as well. And then certainly you can switch between dogs, momentary, continuous, and then the auxiliary feature will turn the lights on your collar on or off. I use both systems, candidly, particularly during training season and not in hunting season when I'm not with groups. I almost exclusively run the 550 Plus. I've really found that to be really helpful for running 2 dogs, which is primarily how I set things up. A pro tip on the 550 Plus to run 2 dogs, set the collars up for black and then blue. So you can see here, this is where you would set your different collars. That way on the toggle, you're just running top to bottom. You're not trying to find the one in the middle with 2 dogs. It just makes it super easy with the flick of the thumb to get where you need to go. But again, for me, when I'm rough grouse hunting with a group of people, when we've got anywhere from 3 to 5 dogs on the ground, 3 to 5 people, we're all kind of going in different directions and want to know where everybody is. The Alpha is particularly great to have in those moments to really have at least digital line of sight to where everybody is. All of these units pair with Garmin's either Garmin Explorer or Garmin Alpha app, so you do get the mapping functionality on your phone as well as statistics. And additionally, it gives you an opportunity to also find your handheld if you lose it. And lastly, all of them from a GPS perspective will pair with the dog tracking widgets on the various Garmin watches, whether that's a Phoenix, Epix, Instinct, or a couple other Garmin versions that run the dog tracking widget. And so I run all of those as well. I hope you've enjoyed this quick down and dirty overview between the Alpha series and the Pro 550 Plus. If you have additional questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Happy to answer. And you can get any of these as well as a host of other Garmin products at uglydoghunting.com.